Okay, so basically this is how to retape a rifle. You just want to start by taking all the tape off of it. So here, and you need to unscrew the bolt and unscrew here. So if there's tape covering this little screwed piece here, you just want to, like if there's the underneath tape part, you just have to cut that off. That's what I had to do. And yeah, just take off of your tip and everything. Um, okay, so starting with the tip, you want to get a square piece of tissue that's about this thick, kind of. It really doesn't matter that much, just as long as you have tissue covering it. And then put pieces of tape in kind of like an X like this, and over the tip, just kind of tape it on. And you want to make sure it's centered, and after, we're going to cut the corners off, or at least I like to. No one really told me to do this, you don't have to, but it does make it look prettier. So basically, once it's taped on all these sides, these little like corner pieces here, you'll just cut them off like that. So basically, once those corners are cut off, then you take another, you just put over one side and then over the other, so it'll look like this. And then you're gonna get more tape and then start here and then just wrap it around up until all of those little ends are covered. So once you finish that, it should look like this, and it should be wrapped all the way around. Okay, so now moving on to the butt of your rifle, you should get a piece of tissue, toilet paper, same for the tip. It really doesn't matter what kind of like material it is, as long as it's not like actual paper. But basically what you do is you make it a little bit longer than the butt of your rifle and just a little bit further out so you can fold it over. And you just get a piece of tape and tape it over like this, and then what you're going to do is you're going to get tape here and then just tape it all the way around so it should be lined up across. It doesn't need to be even here because it's just going to be taped over anyways. Also, just another thing, what I like to do, same for the tip, I like to cut off these little corners here, and then you should tape it around there too. So when you tape it around, you'll be starting like here. Like here. So you won't be able to get over the corners to tape it down, and you don't want that tissue paper showing. So yeah, just make sure you start a little bit lower, so tape down those corners. Okay, so once you've taped over the butt with a lot of strips, just going up here, make sure none of the tissue is showing, and make sure you tape around the edges here. Then, like I said before, you're just going to start here and wind it all the way around. Make sure you go over this part and then lift it up. That's why we unscrewed it. Lift it up and then keep on going underneath the strap to about here-ish, just depending on where the line is before you taped or just where the previous person who taped it did it. And make sure you just don't go too far down or it'll just look weird. Okay, so next we're going to do the bolt. This always, if you already have a black one, then you don't need to tape it, but a lot of people on the team do have silver bolts, so you guys need to learn how to tape these black. It's really not that hard. You just wind it all the way around. If you have an ending part that looks a little bit like this, it is a little bit trickier. You need to put a piece of black tape here on the end. Just basically fold it over and then wind it over. You'll be able to kind of fold it in to make it look nice. It does slip up, it does kind of peel up a lot. You'll have to kind of fix it often. There really is no correct way to do it to make it work, but just do your best. So after you've wound this completely around on this end, made sure this part was covered in black and everything, for this little tail end part, you can just tuck that in. Because when you screw it into your bolt, or onto the part where the bolt goes, it's not going to show. It'll be pressed up against it. So a little bit of a rough edge here doesn't really matter. And so now we're going to move on to this part. And the part that you unscrewed for, this is going to be the last part because you'll want to have this part free so you can just wind it around instead of having to go around your strap. And so this part's super easy. So basically, once it's wrapped all the way around, it should look like this. Make sure you go over this part a little bit, so like half of it's hanging off so you can tuck it in. And then with your bolt, you'll just line it back up and just screw it back in. The tape shouldn't really affect anything or anything like that. Just tape it in. Okay, so once that's been screwed in, we're just going to move on to this part. It's really easy. basically what you just do is you just wrap it all the way around. So for this part, you'll want to start closer to the bolt and just tape around until you get to around where the screw is. Screw it in and then keep taping over. And okay, so basically once that's done, it should look like this. It should be taped over here. You screw it in, tape here. It should look like this. And then if you guys have a little screw here, sometimes they go missing, and so you just have to kind of wrap the tape around. But there should be a little like metal screw or something like that in there to keep your strap. And every so often you should tighten your strap because it does stretch out, or sometimes just if there's nothing there, then it'll slip a little bit. So your strap should always be not quite too easy to touch it, but it should kind of feel a little bit of a resistance. But yeah, that's it. It's taped.